exciting. Look who's hanging out with us. Alan Doyle from Great Big Sea is here. He's got a new solo album out. He's written a book. He's going to tell us all about Newfoundland. That's next. Sports Center with Jane Dan. What a show! It is time to welcome Alan Doyle to the Coors Side Seats. Musician, actor, philosopher, author, proud Newfoundlander, so many wonderful things. We're thrilled to have you here, my friend.
I'm thrilled to be here. Shake my hand. It's great to be here.
It's great to see you.
You've been in this studio before.
I was. I just realized that earlier. I came. This is, I think, what I used to film off the record years and years ago. And I came here, and I remember just being thrilled, you know, to get to be on TSN. And because it would buy me so much credit when I went back playing in the beer league hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I was sort of joking. Not only did my buddies, you know, see me on TSN, which I announced to them that I was actually doing something else in my professional career, but also for some reason they assumed then that I was some kind of authority.
You were there to break something down.
Break something down on hockey, and they, you know, they would stop me in the grocery store and say, like, "I'm not sure what you said now about sending up the third guy high on the power play. Are you sure about that?" I was like, "Guys, I play the mandolin for a living. I don't know how to do it."
Bob McKenzie said he used to get keg gift certificates. Did you get a keg gift certificate?
There was some kind of swag bag at the time. Yeah, there was something. There was.
We have to work on that.
Yeah, we don't have anything.
I'll take a Tim Hortons mug.
We have nothing for you.
I'll take a Tim Hortons mug any day.
The new solo album is A Week at the Warehouse, and your second book, A Newfoundlander in Canada, is about to be released. How do you do? We can barely make this show happen on a nightly basis. How do you do two projects like that at the same time? That's a lot of work.
It is, but it sort of came off. Random House came to me a little while ago and asked me to write a book. They said, "We'd like your blog and stuff." And you think so I just said, "I don't know how to do that, but I'll give it a go." And I wrote the first book called Where I Belong. And what I discovered doing that book is that writing is actually it's an excellent companion to a traveling musician's life, because you know the loneliest and the darkest times when you're on the road all the time are like in a bus, in the hotel, in a town that you don't know or whatever. And if you're writing and you're doing something that's kind of feels progressive and it feels like you're getting something done, productive, then that time goes quicker and it feels like. And then I mean, both books I wrote almost all of it either on an airplane, in a dressing room, or in a coffee shop in a strange town.
Right.
You said yours was so hard to write.
I just found it to be hard work.
Yeah.
You know, like it seemed like work to me.
It is.
This isn't work to me. Like this is fun.
Well, you know what? For me, the thing I said, the hardest thing about writing a book is writing a book.
Exactly.
And if you've written one, you'll know what I mean. Like, and you go like, it's just and I'm sure in your lives here, like you don't have 2 days that are the same here.
Right.
You know, every day, you know, there's a new challenge, there's a new thing. And in my life, I always joke, it's like I'm literally in a new place every day.
Yeah.
You know, and like most of the things you do in a musician's life are either 90 minutes long, 3 minutes long. You go work on a record, okay, it's a couple of weeks or a month if you're doing Ben-Hur or something. You know, and it's like, we're writing a book and you're going like it's in April or something, and you go to your editor, you go like, we can't be still working on the same project that we were working on in December.
And talk about this book. Like, I'm so fascinated by it because, you know, was it your idea to sort of explore your thoughts and your feelings on the rest of the nation as a Newfoundlander, or was that an idea from Random House? No,
that was kind of my idea because I thought it would be a cool way to continue, sort of pick up to a certain degree where the last book left off, which is right where Great Big Sea started, you know, and the first book really talked about how I made my way from my little fishing town to St. John's and ended up playing in a band for a living. And this one, you know, especially because it was like Canada 150 and all that stuff, I thought it might be interesting for people to hear the stories that I had to tell about what Canada looked like to me in my very early 20s, out through the window of a band van, you know, through the eyes of a guy who'd never been anywhere. And really the only thing I knew about Canada was hockey teams. You know, and that apparently was the country that I was from.
Right.
Right? Apparently, you know, and of course I grew up in a fishing town in coastal Newfoundland. I'd never met anybody from Calgary. I'd met lots of people from Portugal, because the Portuguese sailors have been every year.
Right.
You know, my accent doesn't sound like somebody from Saskatchewan.
Right.
But my accent sounds like someone from Southern Ireland. So I had much more of kind of a personal affinity with those places. Yet that's not the country I was from. I was from Canada, apparently, where Guy Lafleur was from, which was I wouldn't mind going there. That'd be all right. And so it was a very unique way to start traveling across the country for a few reasons. You know, because my parents, weren't born in the same country I was. You know, they were born in a country called Newfoundland, and I was born in a country called Canada. But me and my mom and dad were born in the exact same place.
Right.
So it's the strangest kind of first-generation Canadianism there is. And then the other thing, of course, is that I was seeing it out the window of a band van. You know, where...
Kind of a cool way to see it, though.
Oh, incredible. Yeah, yeah.
And then you're a Habs fan. So, first of all, Montreal, actually getting to Montreal must have been amazing.
When I was a kid, like, Montreal was like Narnia or something. Because I loved...
It still is, Alan.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
It still can be.
Well, I mean, I was born in 1969. And so in the late 70s, when I was just sort of coming of age enough to know what we were doing, that's when Montreal won 4 and 5 in a row, and they had Ken Dryden and Bob Gainey and Guy Lafleur and all. And I just remember, like, that was the coolest thing. And we only had one channel. We'd watch Hockey Night in Canada, and I remember just staying up to watch whenever they showed the Montreal game, which was almost every week, or the Toronto game or whatever, and often it was Montreal against Toronto. Right. That Montreal just looked like the coolest place I'd ever even heard of. Like, all these people got dressed up in these cool coats and smoked while they were watching hockey, and the players smoked.
Everyone was so dressed up behind the bench.
All dressed up, and then they'd show, cameras outside in the city, and like it just everyone looked like the fashion looked cool, and they'd show a guy playing piano accordion or something like it. And it just seemed like a magical place to me. And then, I remember being so inspired by, Ken Dryden when he would talk. He didn't sound like anybody else in the league, much like anybody else on the team. And so that's why I became like a super Habs fan and a Ken Dryden fan, like even to this day.
And a guy calling those games, a guy from Newfoundland, Bob Cole.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because somebody, has said to me a little while ago, it was great that, you're sort of paving the way for artists from Newfoundland to go across the country or whatever. And I said, yeah, well, we had that as well. They're like, well, who did you have? I said, Bob Cole. Yeah. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, Bob Cole was on national television when I was 4, every week, and still is.
It's unbelievable.
The way he calls a game, there's no one else.
When I close my eyes, or if I'm in in the airport or whatever, and the game is on silently, the voice I hear in my head is Bob Cole. Yeah. And it's I don't think he ever thinks of himself as any kind of maverick or any kind of sort of pioneer for Newfoundlanders in film and television or the arts or sports, but he is. And so, yeah.
Do you think he knows that?
No. I don't think it crossed his mind one time.
No.
Baby, for sure.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we want to play a game with you. Before we do, if there's another place in the country you could live or had to live other than Newfoundland, what would it be?
Yeah, good question.
I don't know. Montreal probably.
Yeah.
Just because I still love that city and I love.
Let's go west. Where if you had to live somewhere out west?
You know what?
Or the territories.
I was very charmed the first time I ever went to Nanaimo.
Oh, yeah.
It might sound like a strange choice, but maybe it won't be. But there's something I'm still so charmed by.
Well, it's another island.
By a rummy sailor town.
Yeah, and with a dessert named after them.
No, I do love that. I mean, the thing about, and I talk about it in the book, the thing about British Columbia, of course, for a fellow like me, is that, it's about as far away as you can go, Vancouver is further away from my house than Warsaw.
Yeah.
That kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, and I'm further away from home here than if I was in parts of the west coast of Ireland.
Yeah, wow.
That's crazy.
Ontario,
this country is huge.
It's huge, and Newfoundland is way out one side of it.
So we're going to play Decipher the Dialect. Yeah. We want you to translate these common phrases.
I love this. Look at this graphic.
Yeah. We did this just for you.
That's fantastic.
You need to decipher these common phrases. Oh,
you want me to decipher them?
Yeah.
Okay. Who knit you?
Yeah.
Do you not know what that means?
No.
Well, let me do it to you guys. Let's see. I think I know what that means.
Okay.
Well, what do you think who knit you means?
Who got in your craw? Who made you upset?
I think who fathered you.
There you go. Who's your parents?
Oh, yeah? Oh, that was good, Dan.
Who's your parents?
Okay, we have a segment in the show called the Jannies, but in Newfoundland, what is Jannying?
Jannying? Oh, well, Jannying is the same tradition as mummering. So Jannying is the British equivalent to the Irish tradition of mummering, or one is Protestant, one is Catholic. I can't exactly remember how that goes. But really, it's the same thing. It's about going around from house to house in masquerade and trying to trade, kind of usually at Christmas time, trying to get free drinks in exchange for dancing and clowning around.
Does this
sounds
still
fun.
happen, Alan
Sounds
Doyle?
fun and terrifying.
Sounds
It is.
awesome.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It
Fun
is,
and
because
terrifying.
you want to go to the Mummers Parade at Christmas time.
Fun
in
and
Newfoundland.
terrifying.
Couple more quick ones.
Yeah.
Splitting the rocks.
Splitting rocks. It's usually do you know it?
Nope.
No.
It's a reference to the sun. So when it's really warm,
Ah,
the sun
okay.
is splitting the rocks.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's
I
so
think I
hot
get
that the
that.
rocks are cracking in half. See, in Newfoundland, of course, we wouldn't be able to say the sun on the sandy beach on your feet.
Right.
So we'd
That's
have
the rock.
It would be the rock. So
Yeah.
it had to have
That
some
makes
kind of rocks.
I dies at you.
I dies at you. Do you know that one?
Not a clue.
Huh? I dies at you is usually a reference to someone who's funny.
Oh,
You're making me.
I get it. Okay.
You're making me laugh so
Oh,
much.
I dies at you.
I dies
I
at
might
you.
die. I'm dying here, or whatever it would be.
And is it okay from
dies at you.
a mainlander,
Yeah.
when a Newfoundlander scores, I used to
Yeah.
say, yes, bye.
Yeah,
But
sure.
someone said, you can't say that.
Really?
It's disrespectful. I'm like, but that's like A
Are you
for the
giving
rest of the
Are you
country.
giving Dan permission to say
Can
that?
I say yes, bye?
Definitely.
All right. Well, there you go.
Well, was there love in your heart when you were saying it?
Yes, bye. Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's a sad. Brings up a sad topic because we don't have any Newfoundlanders skating this year.
Yeah.
I know.
In the NHL.
Yeah.
I know.
But we still have Bob.
We still have Bob.
A Week at the Warehouse, your third solo album. Big week for you. It's out. And a Newfoundlander in Canada. Dan has them both right here.
Thank you.
What would be
Look at that.
both terrific holiday gifts. Alan
way.
Doyle, pleasure to meet you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
That's
in the
great. Thank you
Courtside
both, and nice to see you back on the home ice.
Yeah,
And
it
look
is.
forward-
It is pretty good.
Look forward to coming to see you here again.